Okay, we're online recording. So, welcome everybody to the Mama's Essential Oil Secret. As you all know, I'm not a mother, I only have a cat. So, that's why I thought the best way for me to help more people get together to learn about essential oils for children, for family, is how about I host a session and bring together these different moms. And there are so many different moms to choose from and to talk to in the One Drop group. So if you're coming onto one of our Zoom sessions the first time, or you're even completely new to this altogether, welcome. This is done by our group called One Drop, and the essential oils that we will be talking about today, specifically Young Living Essential Oil, and we will talk about the difference very, very briefly later. But I want to introduce you to the three other wonderful ladies that I have on board with me today. Trust me, I did not just throw a stone and just see where it goes and go, okay, ask that one. I thought about this carefully and said, okay, these are the ladies I want on board, and I want them to come together and do the sharing. Okay, so the first one we're going to hear from later is G. Okay, if you can see pictures, she's the one with me right now. Okay, so very, very quick. G and I have come a long way. I was trying to count, but I think it's more than 10 years. So I can't count beyond that. How long? She says 20. Got so long, man. Okay, makes me feel very old. But I've known her for a very, very long time. And yes, I'm the person who introduced her to these crazy essential oils. I literally shoved it into her face and said, use. Okay. She is what I call a sister in adventures. Clearly, in our younger days, we are like, she's definitely younger than me. Okay, in our younger days, both of us are crazy. We do nonsense things together. I had a lot of fun. So she definitely was one of those first people that I thought about using the essential oils with and sharing the wonderful benefits and the amazing powers with her family, especially with her children. Here's the thing about G. She looks very ginna. If you don't know the word ginna, it means like a child, you know. She walks out. If you can see her picture, you would not guess that she's a mom of 4. Yeah, 4. I don't know her age. She'll tell you later. The age of all the kids, okay? She has 4, okay? She herself looks like their older sister. She's in fairy dresses and wings and colorful hats. She's that kind of mom. Vibrant, happy, joyful, you know, like a big sister to all her children. And I think one of the big leaps of faith she's taken in the last one year plus, there was many different transitions along the way, was her leading a very high-flying job. So I had to ask her, because I don't really ask people what they do. And she was the regional HR compliance of some company. You go and find out from her. Okay. And she kind of took the leap of faith because she really wanted to spend time with her 4 precious babies. And yeah, today we have her on board, and she will be sharing about the generic uses of essential oil for children. Okay. Then we have a preggy mom on board. That's Tracy. That's Tracy waving if you can see her. Okay. Can I just say that I was afraid of Tracy before? Okay. Like, she's laughing at me right now. So Tracy also is a high-flying mom. She's a mom of 2 right now, expecting her 3rd child. And when I first got to know Tracy, and I saw her in her very corporate, you know, wear and the questions she asks, she probes. So she's not one who will be like, if I tell her, just use the oils, she'll be like, what do you mean just use the oils? Please explain it a little bit more. So Tracy is a little bit different. She's the kind of mom that wants to understand the logic and really read about how things work. And I just really felt that her presence in today's class will also appeal to the moms who are more left brain and go like, no, I don't just want to apply oils. I want to know why I'm applying oils on my kids, right? So I've written down there meticulous. Yeah, meticulous. She's like She's going to kill me. Okay, she's very pregnant. She's about to pop in 6 weeks' time. So really grateful that she's on today with us, and she will talk about the products that she used during her pregnancy, because we know a lot of moms ask that question, and we want to be able to support them to have a confident perspective towards this. Okay. Last but not least, one of the last one that's just washed her hair. She's disappeared somewhere. That's Danny. We will hear from Danny in a moment. Danny is from Indonesia, and she's been staying in Singapore and has started using the oils in 2013. So when I first met Danny some time back, what I realized was she's so different when she first started versus she is right now. Because when she was first starting, just like any mom, I think she really just approached it like looking for another option for her kids. She wasn't looking to share with other people, none of that. But the amazing thing about Danny is I really watched how she just bloomed into this person who really wants to understand how to use these products effectively, so much so that she reads a lot. Danny reads really a lot. She devours books and information and tries to understand the concept behind nutrition, cleansing. One of her favorite topics is organ times. So today you're going to hear from her about nutrition and lifestyle products that we do use in the Young Living range. Okay? So with these ladies covered, I am going to start with a very quick introduction just to support people who are completely new in using essential oils or or just not as familiar, so that you have a little bit of basic understanding. Okay, not a very long one. We've only got a couple of slides to work with. Let me switch over to my slides so that I can show you guys this. Let's see. Okay. So one of the biggest questions for newcomers, they will ask, what are essential oils? Because it's just, essential oils that we know out there is just a product that maybe you buy from, say, a body shop or push cart, and these are things that smell nice, full stop. But we want you to be able to start exploring essential oils a little bit differently. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, essential oils are also known as aromatic essences of plants. So if you take a leaf and you literally break the leaf, you're going to get this scent coming out from the leaf. That's not quite essential oil in itself. It's what is carrying the essences. Now, it takes an entire process, which we are not going to talk about today, in order to extract that useful health substance from the plant. Okay. Now, what it is also known as is essential oils are also known as the lifeblood of plant. What does that mean? If we think of blood, what does blood do for human beings? It helps us block out diseases, it helps carry oxygen, carry nutrients, fight invaders that are coming into our body. And same thing, in the plant, the same substance is like the blood of the plant. It does exactly the same thing. Protects the plant, deliver nutrients, deliver oxygen, etc., etc., etc. So given the fact that these essences really holds the same properties, same function as our blood, when we use them, it delivers the same results for us as it would do in a plant. So isn't that something quite amazing to think about? Okay. The next question that a lot of people will ask is, what's so powerful about essential oils? Because essential oils, maybe it's just great for smell. But right now, we want you to begin thinking about therapeutic grade essential oils. And in one drop, it contains 40 million trillion molecules. This information was was extracted from one of the books from one of the top leaders in Young Living. So 40 million trillion, okay, of molecules in one single drop of oil. We have 100 trillion cells in our body. And so if you're really a math person and you do all the division, you find that one drop of oil contains enough molecules to cover every cell in our body with 48,000 molecules. Here's the thing, essential oils travel really fast into our body, goes to every single cell in our body, and works on those cells. And it's really important because our health is not what we think of, take a medication and just be fine. Our health literally starts from all these tiny units inside our body, which are called the cells, right? And we need to keep them healthy in order for the entire body, the different functions to work all together. Essential oils are homeostatic. This is a big word. What does it mean? It really means that they bring balance to the body. They do not force changes on the body. They simply promote a healthful state. So unlike medication, if you're unwell, medication is very, very specific on stopping certain functions, so that, for example, certain medications block out certain receptor sites so you don't feel pain anymore. Or it may stop you from feeling certain ways, or block your nose, unblock your nose, sorry. So there are very specific functions of medicine, but essential oils kind of work differently. They don't go in and force a change. They are constantly looking at, how do I bring this body into balance? So if you are hyper about something, it tries to lower it. If you're hypo, which means you're very sluggish about something, it tries to raise it up as well. It's one of the best things about essential oil that I talk about. Just a little extra tip. Helichrysum is an oil that some of you are familiar with, and I think G might talk about it a little later on. Helichrysum, if you Google and read about its properties, it's amazing at thinning blood, okay? But do you know that it actually stops bleeding as well? A little bit contradictory, right? So it thins blood, but it stops bleeding. When you read that in a book, a very logical person will ask, how is that even possible? That's because an essential oil is not a dead material. An essential oil literally has cells that are alive and they're interacting with the body all the time and looking at what the body is needing right now. So it adjusts and provides the kind of resources and the kind of help your body needs right now. Amazing stuff, right? Okay, next big question that everybody asks, are all essential oils the same? Why don't I just go out to the shopping mall and buy a bottle of essential oil for $5? Why should I buy essential oil that could cost me $50? Let's take a look at this chart. This is extracted from the essential oil desk reference. If you look at this little pyramid right here, right at the bottom, forming the largest base over here is synthetic or nature identical oil. If you look at point number 1, these type of oils basically are created in a laboratory, okay? That means there's nothing really from nature. All the scientist does is they figure out how the smell is supposed to be like, and we create it in the lab. The second type, if you look at the second tier over here, we call it extended or altered oils. Point number 2, these are fragrance grade. Usually they have very, very minimal percentage of real plant, maybe even 5-10%. And to fill up the rest of the bottle, they use other stuff like alcohol or other chemicals to stretch the oils, okay? Number 3 is what we call natural, organic, or even certified oils. They do form a slightly smaller proportion in the market. They're pretty good oils, but they do not necessarily take into consideration healing properties of oil. They do take into consideration farming methods so that, for example, like you get organic products, they could be very particular about how they farm and grow. But when it comes to distillation of the oil, they may not look into, hey, I want to preserve the full spectrum of healing property. So I may heat up the oil much faster and therefore lose some of these healing properties along the way. Okay, so they're good, but they don't necessarily hold full spectrum of the healing properties that people are looking for. So the last level, right on top of this pyramid, you see this golden little triangle here, is what we call the therapeutic oils. Therapeutic oils, every single step of the way, the company needs to be very, very careful about how they grow, how they harvest the plant, how they distill, even the bottling process. Every step along the way needs to be qualified, needs to be highly tested to ensure that everything that they are looking for in terms of therapeutic properties are preserved. So today we're talking about the Young Living essential oils. And that's going to be a grade that you're going to find is right at the top of all these tiers. Here's the thing. When you're talking about therapeutic oils, we don't really care about how they smell. Very different from the kind of oils that you're going to be looking at outside. Okay, so some of the oils, they smell pretty much horrible. But that's not what the company focuses on. The company is focusing on finding oils, distilling oils for you that's going to support your health system. The easiest way to think about this, I always say, is think Chinese medicine. Nobody tries to make your Chinese medicine, the ones that you brew over hours and hours and have to drink. They don't try to make your Chinese medicine taste nicer because that's not the point of it. The point of it is these dried herbs provide you with health properties. Same concept for therapeutic grade oils. Okay, let's see. I'm going to run through this very, very quickly and we're going to go to the moms. Okay, safety guide, just going to list them very quickly. When it comes to using essential oils, there are some oils that are citrus oils or blends, and I've listed over here lemon, orange, tangerine, etc. These can be photosensitive. So if you apply them onto your skin, make sure that they are not areas that's going to be exposed to direct sunlight for the next 24 or 48 hours. Okay? All that will happen is your skin will darken. So give it a couple of days, it will fade away. There are some concerns if people do have conditions like epileptics or high blood pressure. You do want to check with your healthcare professionals before using oils. Some oils that has been listed in some books to avoid, like hyssop, fennel, Idaho tansy, etc., are oils that may trigger certain active reactions in the brain, and therefore has been advised that people stay away from that if they know they have certain conditions. When an oil irritates the skin or the eyes, never wash with water. Use V6, that's a carrier oil, and rub it over wherever the area of irritation is, even if it's in the eyes. Never use water. Water and oil do not mix. So if you apply water onto that area, it will push the oils faster and further into the skin, and it's going to make the irritation feel worse. When adding the oils to beverage, now, not all countries talk about taking oils internally, but if you happen to be an oiler that does use oils, as part of ingesting process, please make sure that you use glass or ceramic containers. Otherwise, the essential oils are so powerful and so strong, they can break down any plastic toxic material. And the last point, when in doubt, when you're using the essential oils, the safest place to apply the oil is at the soles of the feet, okay? While it is the least sensitive area, it is also an area with really large pores. So your oils are absorbed into the system really fast. Last slide before we go to the mummies, okay? I do want to have a quick run about safety guide for kids and pregnancy. Whoa, they decide to come out all in one shot. Okay, number one, if you can get yourself your hands onto some guidebooks like the Essential Oils Pocket Reference or the Reference Guide for Essential Oils, I always think that these are very good tools for you to flip and look at as a mom if you're unsure. Okay. Number two, this is one of the guidelines that I've been taught. You're going to hear different moms have slightly different version, but the version that I've been taught was that under 2 years old, you always make sure that the child only receives less than 1 drop. So either you do this, you take a drop of oil and you put it into your palm, if you can still see a picture of me, and you rub your palm counting to 10. After you count to 10, you wipe the oil to the base of feet of the child. Okay, remember the least sensitive area, base of the feet. 2 to 5 years old, you use 1 drop. If the child is very new, use the above approach, which means just go with less. If the child is above 5 years old, you may be able to use 1 to 2 drops as you deem appropriate. Point number 3, less is more. Okay, when I say that, this is not like your medicated oil. So don't dash 10 drops on your hand and rub it on your child. Essential oils are concentrated. Use less of it, but use more frequently. Use every 20, 30 minutes, especially if they're in the midst of dealing with something that their health is not so well. Okay, frequency is much more important than using a lot in one shot. Number 4, watch out for hot oils. Hot oils can include leaves, oregano, thyme, etc. If you do not know what the hot oils are, go back to point number 1. Take a look at your reference guides. Number 5, oils to avoid during pregnancy. Now, there's going to be many different variations. This list that I have here is extracted from the 2 resource books from point number 1. You're going to find that there are some people who are a lot more conservative. The list that they have is much, much, much longer. Okay? And if you ask Gary Young, the founder of Young Living, he's going to tell you the only oil that he's concerned about is clary sage because that can induce birth. So there's a huge wide range of differences in terms of what people are comfortable with. As a mom who is pregnant, you must always think about what you are comfortable with. Always go with the safest approach. Okay? So let me just stop this for. Okay, so that's all the slides that I am covering right now. I'm going to unmute G so that she can come on in a moment. And G is going to talk to you guys about, for the next 15 minutes or so, the top 5 to 6 products or essential oils that she uses for her children. And what are some of the biggest benefits she started noticing for her family ever since she started. Okay? Hello, G.
Hello. You can hear me, right?
Can.
I hope everybody can hear me really clearly.
Yeah.
I'm down with a really bad cough, and the haze is killing me. But anyway, so I wasn't kidding when Kai wasn't kidding when she said that the essential oils was pretty much shoved at me. But really, because at some point in time, I found myself at my wit's end. Because back then, when I had 2 kids, and my eldest daughter, who was then 3, had suffered from recurring bronchitis, and therefore started having swollen adenoids, swollen tonsils, and was scheduled to actually go for surgery. And it was then that I started exploring oils. So one of the things that I really liked about Young Living Essential Oils is obviously the raindrop technique set. Basically, it was the first, apart from peppermint, that was shoved at me. So RDT. So inside the RDT set, there's oregano, thyme, basil, cypress, wintergreen, marjoram, aroma seeds, peppermint, as well as valor. And it's basically this whole set of oils that are then used in sequence, applied first to the base of the feet and then to the back of the child. And what I found very effective about RDT is that it always helps my children sleep a lot better. So I come from a school of thought, obviously, that, well, the body obviously has its natural ability to cope with whatever it needs to. Sometimes all we actually need in the moments where we are feeling the worst of ourselves is just adequate sleep. But unfortunately, sometimes when you're feeling so bad, like under the weather, sleep doesn't come very easily. And RDT helps. RDT, I swear by RDT. So RDT helps. So it's got to be my top set of oils to have and what I always recommend people to get anyway. So I would use RDT for sleep. I would use RDT if I noticed that my kids were feeling a little bit lethargic, or they were feeling a little bit under the weather or getting there. That would be when I would introduce the raindrop technique to them. The other thing I really, really love and what my kids use every morning is thieves. So thieves is a hot oil. I've been using a lot of thieves of late, as you can imagine. So what we do with thieves for sore throats, what I do with it is to drop a drop of thieves on my palm and then swish it with my thumb, like that. And then what I do, if I'm feeling a little brave that day or a little bit desperate, is I actually just place it here on my throat. And for some of you who are a little bit braver and wish to consume it, what makes thieves very effective for supporting things like sore throats is the clove and the cinnamon. So it's actually age-old Indian Ayurvedic type therapy where you actually use clove and cinnamon to assist with inflammation on the throat. So that's what we typically use thieves for. My kids have it on the base of their feet before they go to school, and also when they come back after their shower, just to basically boost a little bit of their immunity and to help get rid of whatever might have caught on to them during the time that they've been away from the home. Another favorite would be balsam fir. So for those of you who might not have known, I do a lot of aerial arts. And what aerial arts basically means is that, you hang off trapeze and then you
That's
hang
why
off
I'm crazy.
So, you hang. So imagine Cirque du Soleil, okay? Not that I'm like super flexible and everything, like I can't do what I do, but you generally just hang off stuff in the air. But what that also does is that it takes a lot of my core, and I don't have very much core. I have 4 children. So balsam fir is actually quite awesome for my muscles. I apply it before I work out, and then again after, if I don't want to deal with the achiness and I can't get out of bed in the morning sort of thing. I find it also supports me like now, like when I'm feeling like this, my throat's aching, the haze is killing my respiratory system. I apply balsam fir on my diaphragm. So if you don't know where the diaphragm is, it's just that area below your bra line. And I apply it there because it actually helps me perk up a little bit more. I find that it also helps me strengthen that area, especially when I'm coughing a lot. So love balsam fir. Plus, the plus point about balsam fir obviously is the fact that it actually reminds me of Christmas. It actually smells quite good. An oil that I would never do without as well is helichrysum. So you can imagine having kids run around the house. Plus the fact that I'm also eczema prone. I can like be cutting vegetables and then talking and then suddenly cutting myself, you know, that sort of thing. Or my kids bruised or grazed the knee because they were like swooshing around in socks on a slippery floor, you know, stuff like that. Helichrysum is wonderful because it supports, apart from thinning blood, stopping blood, it actually supports skin repair as well. So a personal story, and I always share this, I think about 3 years ago, my husband suffered from chickenpox at a ripe old age of 36. So if any of you know how it is having chickenpox when you're a lot older, it's actually really bad. Like you start having like marks everywhere all over your body. So your body becomes this land filled with like explosive mines, and it was just really horrid. 2 weeks on, he found himself in a position where he couldn't look at himself in the mirror. Like he got really upset by what he saw, you know, the aftermath of the whole episode. We worked with helichrysum on his scars and started making what we call a scar blend that you can obviously get off the internet. I'd be happy to share the recipe later on. But basically, we did also a little experiment because Mr. Analytical needed some proof that essential oils work. We applied it on his face and then left his body the way it was. And lo and behold, about a week and a half later, he started seeing the lights. So he started having clearer skin. Obviously, the marks on his body was still normal, like still, you know, black and dark spots everywhere. But he then became a believer that, you know, this bottles of oils that his crazy wife has been like, you know, shoving on the kids were actually quite effective. So helichrysum, great for skin. Eucalyptus, and I say eucalyptus in the broad sense because, you know, Young Living carries 3 types. There's the blue range, the radiata range, the globulus range. I use all 3 for different purposes, really. I actually quite like diffusing blue because it's got a very concentrated type of smell and it gets everywhere. But it's also very highly concentrated. So it actually supports with boosting heavier breathing, like deeper breathing, I find. Radiata is awesome to dilute and then apply on the chest of the child like you would a Vicks or a vapor rub. And globulus in particular, especially for children who are very prone to developing a lot of icky, mucus, phlegmy type things that probably need support to come out. I think globulus is quite effective with that sort of stuff. And then the final one cannot do without joy. Personally, I did like joy because I have a thing about ylang-ylang that I do not like. However, my girls love joy. And as you can imagine, because I love my girls, I have to apply joy on them as if it was their perfume, right? So, you know, mama's got to suck it up and sometimes just go like, you know, put it on them. But joy started to grow on me because I actually feel a lot happier around joy. So I guess joy is my go-to mood lifter, if you want to call it that. You know what I mean? A lot of us would easily read up things in books and on the internet about oils that could support you physically. And not a lot of people want to delve into the, but aromatherapy for our emotions, for how we feel, you know, for things like that. So joy would have to be my go-to oil for emotions. So, okay. What's the other one, Kai? Oh, okay, biggest benefits.
Yeah.
What I write here? Okay, so as you can tell, with 4 children, pediatrician fees are not very cheap. Every time we go to the peds, it's like $120 per pop, per child. So that multiplied by 4 every month, I used to spend like $400-500. And also because my 4 kids are childcare going kids. I don't have parental or parent-in-law support in Singapore. So my kids all go to childcare. I was a working mom then, so it was that sort of thing, right? So you can imagine one child gets something, everybody gets everything, so we all go to the doctor together, like as if it was an excursion. But my family is a lot healthier now, meaning I probably haven't seen a doctor for medication in the last 5 years. And yeah, so we don't spend any money on doc. And even if we went to the doc, it's really just to get a diagnosis or to get checked to make sure that it was nothing too serious. But we always will revert back to medicating ourselves through diet, through sleep, through oils. And I can't tell you how many times in the last 5 years that I have introduced or begun conversations with people about essential oils just because they pass me and they go like, oh my God, it smells so good. So yeah, can you imagine like a pity party of 6 smelling of different variations of oils? So my family obviously smells a lot better than the ones next to us, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's been a pretty awesome and amazing journey with oils.
Thank you, G. Okay. So thank you for sharing. Like I said, this session is really for mummies too. All these real life mummies who use it on a day-to-day basis. I really wanted them to share with you what they do. So we're going to go on to Tracy, because who best to talk about? I mean, the other mummies have been pregnant before, but this one is pregnant now. Okay. So I wanted her to kind of like talk about the oils that she's using right now. Okay. What gives her the confidence to use essential oils during this period of time, and if after delivery, if she's thinking about what she might use with the baby, etc. So I am going to let me unmute Tracy. Hello, Tracy.
Okay. Hello. Okay, so I think I'll start off by addressing the question about what makes me comfortable, because I think that is probably always the first thing on our minds. I've been using oils for 3 years, and I had no issues using it on my 12-year-old. She's 12 this year, 10-year-old. Back then they were like 7 and 9, so I had no issues using oils on them and on myself and my husband. But then I found that as soon as I got pregnant, it was like suddenly it was like, oh my God, is it safe during pregnancy? And then again, I went on the internet, and there's so many mixed reviews about what you can and can't use during pregnancy. It's like stay away from thieves, stay away from all sorts of things, right? So I was actually quite concerned. But what I found was that what I needed was to know that there were other mums who had used oils during the pregnancy, and that they had no issues, and actually they were in better health than normal. Another thing that helped me was a certain book. I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Gentle Babies book. That's that there. So this book was written especially for moms and babies and young children. And after I actually had this book in my cupboard for a long time, but because my kids were older and I never read it. It was sitting there, and I would tell everyone that it's a really crappy book because there's no pictures, there's no colors, and I used to tell them it's really not worth getting. But then as soon as I got pregnant and I had all these questions in my mind, I suddenly realized I should read this book. And then after I read it, I realized that actually there's nothing to worry about. I mean, everything else that we are exposed to in the world are so much worse than what oils could do to us if they were detrimental. And then when Dr. Minky was in town, I actually went to ask him again, why are there all these articles on the internet that says don't use oils while you're pregnant because it might cross the placenta? And then Dr. Minky told me, he said, Tracy, all the chemicals you have in your household products will cross the placenta. So why are you worried about essential oils crossing the placenta? And it was like, then it suddenly dawned on me, it's like nothing that we have in Young Living is worse than what you already get exposed to externally with all the chemicals. Everything you breathe can cross the placenta. Okay, so that gave me a lot of comfort. And I use all the oils that I use even before I was pregnant. and I still take all the supplements, probably more now. Okay, so what I'll do is that I hope that explains how I got comfort, and I hope that helps all the pregnant women out there who are either using oils and not sure, or are thinking about it, to get some comfort as well. And if you really want to understand more, get that book, because it has a lot of information, and it does tell you a lot about, there's lots of testimonials in there, and there's lots of situations where you can use the oils. Okay, so I have a lot of oils that I use and a lot of supplements, but Kai said 6, so I have to pick 6. Okay, so this one, if you can see, this is Progessence Phyto Plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so why is Progessence Phyto Plus important? It's actually something that, so progesterone is something that you need in the first trimester to actually help you carry your embryo. You know, so in the first trimester, it's important to keep your progesterone levels high. About 6 years ago, I had a miscarriage, so I knew that this time I probably needed to do something. So I've only been with Young Living for 3 years. Back then I had no idea, so I guess, you know, I didn't know what I was missing. But then in the last 3 years, just by learning about oils, I do know that I need to make sure my progesterone levels are high. So I actually applied the Triple P throughout the first trimester. So, you know, if you're worried about putting it around your abdomen, then just put it on your ankles or behind your knees. And I needed to only do that once a night. But that was really good. So then I had no issues, because with my first 2, I didn't use oils, and on both occasions I had things like spotting and all sorts of issues where I had to stay home. Whereas with this pregnancy, even though it's been 12 years and I'm 12 years older, I've actually had no issues whatsoever. So that's actually a plus point for me. I've got something to compare to before using oils and now not using oils. I'm sorry, before not using oils and now using oils. Okay, and then the next oil I want to talk about is Digest. Okay, I noticed in the chat room there's been some concern about moms who have been using Digest, and some are saying that on the internet is saying don't use Digest. Again, I think I'll start off by saying what Kai had said. Do what you feel comfortable doing. So if you find that you're a bit stressed about using Digest, then don't use it, because, you know, that stress just isn't worth it. But I personally, I use it. I've used it for 3 years now. So it actually helps me with digestion. I get a lot of stomach issues. So during the first trimester with all the nausea and everything, that actually helped a lot. Even now, because I'm a lot bigger, I'm due in 6 weeks, I come home quite late, so I have rather late meals, and then I want to go to bed after that. So it actually helps me with that digestion as well. Yeah. But yeah, so for me, I think Digest is great. If you really are uncomfortable but you still want to use it, maybe just limit it to just the upper stomach portion and not apply it all over your baby bump. I think that's a good compromise to make. Okay, so then I wanted to talk about peppermint. Okay, so peppermint, I know everyone finds it very useful. You can use it throughout your pregnancy. When I'm at work in the afternoon and, you know, after lunch, it gets really very lethargic. So I use peppermint on my scalp to wake me up. And also, again, for digestion. Okay, so something that the last one I want to talk about, and then I'll tell you a story. Okay, this is lavender. Okay, so lavender I discovered one day when I had a leg cramp. So, you know, during pregnancy, you're prone to leg cramps. And I had a leg cramp. And what I did was that I kind of like stretched it out, and it was still in a lot of pain. And then I thought, okay, let's just try lavender. So I applied the lavender, and within like about 5-10 minutes, the whole leg just relaxed. So then I realized, oh my God, lavender is even good for leg cramps. So, you know, we love it for bruises and all sorts of things, but now like it's like, wow, leg cramps it also works. Yeah. Okay, but the best thing about lavender was during Chinese New Year, I had really, really bad food poisoning. And I don't know if you guys read in the paper about a caterer who took on too many orders, and I think 100 or 150 people got sick over about a 4-day period in Chinese New Year. And a lot of people went to hospital. Yeah. So I was one of them, because we had an in-house corporate function and they catered for it. And I think 30 of us got sick. And it was the worst food poisoning I had ever had. Okay. At the same time, my colleague, who was about 6 weeks more pregnant than me, we both had the same symptoms because we had the same food poisoning. But the difference was that I had oils and she didn't. She's not an oiler because she's a first-time mom, so she's very concerned and she only follows the doctor's orders. Okay, so what happened was that the food poisoning was causing so much cramps and everything. I think what happens is that it actually starts to translate into premature contractions. So she actually went to hospital and they put her in the labor ward for observation, and they gave her a lot of medication and everything. Eventually, they managed to get it under control, and she was discharged with a bag full of medication. So the difference with me was that I used digize, peppermint, lavender, and frankincense. So these were my oils during that episode. But what I found was that lavender is really, really good for premature contractions, right? If you refer to the book, it'll actually cover that as well. So if you have premature contractions and you put lavender on and just rub it on the belly bump, what you'll find is that you'll start to relax. Yeah, so I wasn't worried because I had all my oils, and that's when I discovered that lavender was good for premature contractions. Yeah, so that book was really handy because every time I faced something new, I would actually refer back to the book, and it would actually give me really good tips. Okay, then the last oil is frankincense. Okay, so why frankincense? So during pregnancy, a lot of us will get pregnancy pigmentation on the face, around the cheeks and everything. I find that frankincense actually controls all that pigmentation. So I'm not getting as much pigmentation as I had when I first had my first 2 children, many years ago. So that's a vanity oil for me. Okay, so then I think, what was the last question?
Were you preparing to use some things for your baby after the baby's delivered?
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's actually a lot. I have a lot of things prepared for myself and for the baby. It all does come from the Gentle Babies book. So I'm not gonna go through them all, but I think there will be oils to help to kind of like bring on the labor so that it's actually smoother. Things like jasmine, clary sage, maybe peace and calming, just to keep me calm, maybe keep hubby calm as well. And then I'll be having all of the anointing oils for the baby, with the frankincense, because that really helps the baby as soon as he's born. And then for myself, I'll be using cell light. I'll be getting 1 bottle of cell light, and I'll dump a bottle of grapefruit oil in it, and that's just to massage and just to detox after giving birth. But that's just some of it. I have a lot of things lined up, and it's just too much to cover. But you'll get all the ideas from the book, so that's what I recommend.
Cool. Thank you. So clearly we need to do another Zoom when your baby's born. And then so the well-oiled baby. Yeah. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. Hey, let me see. Oh, hang on. Okay, so the next person next mommy who's going to share with us is Danny. Danny's going to cover lifestyle and oil-infused supplements, okay? And the questions we've asked her are, what are the top 5 nutrition and household products you and your family use? Whoops, am I still on? Yeah, I just it decided to lock me out for 1 second. Okay, and what was the second one? What are some of the biggest benefits you noticed for your family since you started? Okay. Danny, I am going to unmute you. Hang on. I'm going to look for Danny. My computer. Oh, there you go. Hello.
Hi. Okay, I've been using oil since February 2013 when my girl is 4 months old. At first, I was only use oils. Then after a while, then my oil collection grew, but then I don't know what else to buy. So when I read up books, I read that the supplements is quite important to us. So I start to explore the supplements, and also for my girl who is like, she's a bit picky eater. I know what she likes, but sometimes when we eat out and she doesn't like to eat many things, so I'm a bit concerned about her nutrition. She also doesn't like vegetables. Last time the fruits only confined to like pear.
Yeah.
Now it's like at least grapes and bananas. So at that time I start to like explore Nisharet. Okay, this is the one that she likes. She likes the sachet. When I give the bottles one and I pour into the glasses, she doesn't like it. I don't know why. So she likes the expensive one, and she's now 3.5 years old, and she can finish this in one shot. Okay. So I find this is quite good to boost her immunity, and also it's a good nutrition inside for Nisharet. There's antioxidants, and also it's like it covers a lot of nutrition from the vegetables and the fruits. And also I find when I give her this, her growth are quite well instead of before giving the Nisharet. So also when she falls sick, she can recover faster just using the Nisharet because of the nutrition. Your body needs nutrition to function well, also to build up, to help to recovery. Okay, without nutrition, then it's like, okay, the oils just help you at that much, but without the proper nutrition, then you need time. Okay. So the next one that she really, really loves until she pretends to be fall sick is super seed chewable. Okay. This is she treat it like a candy. So if some mummies thinks it's like gummies, but it's not. It's quite hard, like this. And you just put in the mouth and you chew it. Okay, let me put into the bottle first. Okay. So I give it to her one tablet a day. I try to limit to 1 tablet a day, but she will like to ask for 2 tablets a day, 3 tablets a day if she can walk through me for 3 tablets. But sometimes because she really loves it very much, she will like pretend she's coughing. Mommy, I'm coughing. I need another toothpaste. Yes, you cannot. You're only pretending. So, okay. So, but this is, I like super seed chewable compared to super seed tablet because this is the vitamin C is from the whole fruit instead of like from the ascorbic acid as in the tablets. Also, there's a lot of exotic fruits like camu camu and acerola cerri, which is this is the reformulated one. The previous one is without the camu camu, and of course because it's only 90 tablets, I always supply this once a month, so it's finished. Okay. The next one that I like her to take is sulfazide. Okay. This is very good for immunity and digestive. And also it's really help with the healthy skin and hair. She used to have frequent nose bleeding, but once I give her this, the nosebleeds suddenly gone. Last time she will have like every 2 weeks once nosebleed when she eats chocolate or too much sugar, or when she drinks milk. I can find her lips peeling. The same with chocolate. Okay, the M&M's one is like immediately. I think after a few hours after she eat M&M's, her lips will be peeled. Okay, and nighttime she will nosebleed. Okay, that's a big concern to me until I read up and I give her Silverzyme. Luckily, she likes it, even though it's bitter to me. Okay, so when at first I give her is only 1/4 of the cap. I just open the cap. Okay, it's like this. I open it and I just pour 1/4 of it, and then I mix with. I just put in a teaspoon. I just mix the water here, and I just let her taste, and love it. Okay, she will. If I forgot to give her, at night she will just, Mama, I haven't eaten my powder. Okay, then I go out. I'm so sleepy already. Then I go out. I just have to give her. Okay. There's one time that she missed eating this, and there's too much ice cream and too much sugars in that trip, and there's so much heat, and she has nosebleed. Okay. But it's not like sometimes like you think it's dependency of this. It's just that sometimes her nutrition is not so good, and also her immunity at that time probably she is like tired or exposed to direct so much heat, and she will get nosebleed. But when she's okay, and I forgot to give her Silverzyme, she's okay. But I think this is quite important to her and to myself also, because I also take this. I take this like 4 capsules a day. I try to take 8 capsules, but in the morning I always forget, so I always remember at night. The next thing that I would like to say is the Life 5. Okay, this is the only probiotic in Young Living, and it's only USA. I really like probiotics because it supplies good bacteria to yourself, and I don't like Yakult or Vitagen because it's full of sugars. It's only like this is I give her 1/4 of it. I just also pour in a teaspoon, and it's really a good. It really helps her with the digestive system. I can find her go to the toilet more regularly, and the poo is nice shape. Okay, I don't know how to describe because I'm always with her, so I know how her condition is. So for me, Life 5 is pretty important, and I let her take at night after food, or it's like, because I know it can take in the morning, but morning I always forget. Okay, so just everything is done at night. Okay, so the next household product is Thieves household cleaner. This is my favorite. As the detergent, I add baking soda, or when I want to wash the dishes, I add Castile soap to give me a foamy effect. If not, it's like, how come there's no foam? So it's like I'm the only one who is using this because other people find it not foamy enough. But I find the improvement in my skin. I used to have a peeling skin here when I wash the dishes using the commercial, but when I switched to this, my skin starting getting better. So it's like it's really a good switch compared to the commercial product. Also is it's multi-purpose. You can use to mop the floor, and you can use to mop the tables, everything. It's like 1 bottle can last you for 1 month. So it's like 1 cleaner at 1 bottle. Okay, the next one that I use for my kids is the Thieves Kids Scent. I have the kids shampoo in bathroom. I forgot to take out, but this is her favorite since she can brush her teeth. So since 1.5 years old, probably, or 1 year old, and this is quite cost saving because it's big, and for her she can use it up to 9 to 12 months. And it's for healthy gum. Her teeth are very nice, nicely. There's no decay. Also because she doesn't drink milk at night. But we give her to toothbrush every night. So it's really good for her. I find that her teeth is quite strong and she can eat very hard stuff. Okay. So what's the major improvement? Okay, the first is no more nose bleeding. Okay. So also she has the skin sensitivity when there's mosquito bite her, there will be swell very big. But once she started this, I noticed nowadays when the mosquito bite her, it's really only become just the normal bite. Just when we had normal bite. So it's like I find that immunity also improving. Also when she has infrared, she has a less tantrum because she's just starting school for 2 weeks, and she can settle down in the 4th day. I thought she would cry for the whole month. Okay, so on the 4th day she can settle down very quickly and less tantrums. But I noticed when she eat wheat, like the bread, they will have more tantrums. So I just give her more probiotics and Nicorette. Okay, so that's all from me.
Thank you, Danny. I think just to add on to what Danny is saying, it's like sometimes we don't realize, parents may wonder what has the mood got to do with products that you're using and how the kids are digesting, because very often kids act, into throw tantrums because they are not feeling well. And we just think that they are being naughty. So sometimes it's good to even take that approach to begin to look at how are they nutritionally. So I think that's why Danny covered things like Nicorette and some of these health supplements, because the better the health of the child, emotionally they are a lot more stable as well. So thank you, Danny. Okay, thank you, mummies, for presenting your respective segments. The last part, I kind of, just ask these 3 mummies to also think through these 4 different questions that I have here. These are questions that we often hear from other moms, other users. So I wanted them to think about it and share their perspective. Okay, the first one, this is actually more a tip, kind of tips from them. What are your top 1 to 2 tips you have learned about using essential oils on children? Sometimes these tips do not appear on guidebooks. It's true experiences that mummies learn something. In fact, the other day I was telling the girls, I said, one of the big things I've learned is if you want to apply essential oil on a child and the child is crying, you know how when children cry, they break into sweat and they are like covered head to toe. Please don't try to use the essential oils on their skin at that point in time. Because remember, when you have water and you have oil, the water is going to push the oil into the system much faster. So if they're sensitive, they are now going to be really triggered. So wipe them down, and then much later when they're calmed down, then you put the oils. Okay. So we're going to hear from G first. Okay. Let's see. Unmute G. G, share with us 1 or 2 tips, that you've learned.
1 tip.
1 tip. Okay.
Trust your kids' intuition. Can you hear me? I said trust your kids' intuition. So children are born with an innate ability to trust their gut a lot more than us adults. And what I've learned and what's beautiful really about using essential oils is that you discover a lot more about yourself, and I'll speak for myself. I've discovered a lot more about myself as a person, because you just generally have to be a little bit more in tune. Like you've got to be a lot more conscious. You've got to have eyes wide open, ears wide open, like everything, wide open when you're starting on this journey. But trust your children's gut feel. So you'll find yourself in this time, like sometimes figuring out, oh no, the child's like having fever and your usual suspects don't work. that sort of thing. And when you're asking the how, sometimes the best thing to do is really go up to your child, give him or her your oil bag, and go, now child, pick one. And I promise you, maybe 99.9% of the time, they always pick the right oils.
Yeah. Thank you, G. And I've even heard mummies with special need kids, who are really, really sensitive and tuned to the frequency of the oils. You give them a bag of oils, they know exactly which ones they need and they want at that point in time. So I think that's a beautiful relationship. One of the huge benefits out of learning to oil your children, because you as a parent learn to listen to your child. Okay. I think the other person who's going to share is Danny. Let's hear Danny.
Yeah. From me is okay.
Yes.
My tip is follow your instinct in using the oils, and because sometimes it's like same with G. Sometimes you don't know what else to use when your child is sick or just to support the immune system. So when you see all your oils, then you just, for me, sometimes I have like, okay, I really, really want to use this. So I use it on her, and that's the right oil. Yeah. So also the guidelines is for 10 kg weight, you use 1 drop of oils. Wait a moment.
This is where Danny needs to multitask as mommy.
Okay, because my girl is here. Also, the second one is...
Yeah, you were saying 10 kg, use 1 drop of oil.
So 1 drop of oil for 10 kg. Less than that, you just swipe the cap. And the second one is, sometimes you think you don't have the oils that you need for that condition. But I always tell people, just use the oils, whatever oils you have, with intention. So when you apply the oils, you have to have the intention for it to get better, for it to be healthier. Like, you just don't use the oils when you are in hurry. Like, okay, I need to go to the work, so I just oil anyhow, just oil. Okay, that won't work. You see my girl already. Okay, so that's from me.
Okay. Hello, Axia. Okay, thank you, Danny. And the next question that we wanted the ladies to chime in on was, were they skeptical before? Because a lot of moms, when they first start, they might hear about this, and in their hearts, they're like, this just sounds way too fluffy. So I just want to hear from, I think this question, both Danny and G is going to cover it as well. So let's hear back from G again. Was she skeptical before, and kind of like what changed, for her? Yeah.
Was I skeptical? No. I'm generally trusting. And to be fair, it was Kai, right? I mean, so like, I'll trust Kai in my life, so it like didn't matter to me. I also grew in an environment where Daddy read books like Fit for Life, and then I wasn't allowed to eat chicken skin, or like we lived, or I was brought up in that kind of environment. So essential oils wasn't too bizarre an idea for me to swallow. But I think my battle would have had to be with hubby. And he clearly was a skeptic. Like, he didn't mind me using it, and he didn't mind me using it on the children, and would say things like, oh, wonderful, it worked really well on them. And then I'd go, okay, you look like you're coming down with a flu. Let me put something on you. And then he'll be like, it's okay, it's okay. I go back to Tai Chi. It's okay. I don't need that sort of thing. But like I was sharing a bit earlier on, when we started this session, the turning point for him was when he came down with chickenpox. And it came at a point where I had just given birth to our 4th son. And my son then was 3 months old. I was on the last 2 weeks of my maternity leave. So I wasn't enjoying myself. I was taking care of the whole household. But my baby had chickenpox. And I decided to go and expose everybody to the virus anyway. He went to the doctor who was prescribed medication, but he's not a medication taking type person. So it was then he surrendered to, okay, oil me, right? So I took the opportunity, like quarantined him in the room, oiled him throughout. So as you can imagine, chickenpox, he used like the most expensive oils you can possibly find in the Young Living price list. He developed jaundice, so I used a lot of Juva cleanse. We did a lot of lavender for itching. We did frankincense because need to keep the skin looking very nice and yummy. We did helichrysum for most parts, and then we did a lot of Ningxia to, boost his energy levels. And he came out of that feeling like $1 million, really, because he was at the optimum, at his peak, if you want to talk about health-wise, than when he was before, right? And that was when he was completely sold. So I think my point about skeptics is that you've got to just try, whatever it may be, right? So it's not like, oh, you want to start your 100 PB, like, okay, get this list of oils. It's like, no, just try. What makes you comfortable? Peppermint? Okay, just try the peppermint. See how that goes for you. And sometimes that's all it takes. You just got to try that one oil, before you start opening up yourself to the education of essential oils.
Cool. Thank you. I think I get that question from, specifically about hubbies who may not, always be the first to just agree with mummies who wants to try something. So, I think I agree with G. I've seen many cases where mummies themselves sometimes, or plus the daddies, they might need to work and try on different things before they can start seeing results with themselves. I think, before I pass it to Danny to answer that, Tracy, did you want to speak about something because you have your hand raised? Yes. Okay, I saw your hand raising. Just give me 1 minute. Let's go to, where's Tracy on my list? Unmute. Okay. Yes.
Just now on tips, what tips that we can give.
Okay.
I just remembered something.
Okay.
From that last question, and it was animal scent. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
So I think every house, if you have kids or young or babies, you should have a tub of animal scent. It's actually an awesome ointment for everything. In particular, nappy rash. So sometimes really nasty nappy rash is actually very hard to heal, but animal scent will work wonders for nappy rash and actually all kinds of rashes.
Yeah, and just to add, because maybe some of the moms are wondering why Tracy treats her kids like animals. She uses animal scent ointment. Just for everybody's knowledge, there are 2 ointments in US that Young Living has. That's the bigger tub, the animal scent, and then there's this tiny little tub that's called the rose ointment. We all use animal scent anyway because it's not just meant for animals. It's just that it's made cheaper and bigger tub. It doesn't have rose oil in it, but it has other beautiful oils in it. But the rest of the ingredients are pretty much the same. So
that's the awesome thing. It's so big, it lasts so long, and it's not very expensive.
Yes, exactly. So that's something worth getting, and using. And I found it very useful to use it as part of dilution as well, or to just moisturize certain areas. So thank you, Tracy, for that sudden tip. Okay, let's get back to Danny, who was going to share if she was skeptical before and what changed.
Yes. Actually, for the oils, physically, I'm quite great. I accept the claims, but the one that I'm skeptical about is the emotional oils.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is like sometimes is it true? Like, is it really works? Like when you are having a bad mood, then you just use these oils. It can help you, or when you're it can release your traumatic experience, or blah 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 blah. Then after that, okay, so after studying for a few months, then I start to explore into the emotional oils, and the first one that I try is the release. Okay,
Release.
when I use it over my liver, I can feel the anger suddenly come out. So I just want to scold everyone around me. So that, oh my god, how come this happening to me? When I try to apply it on my husband also say, hey, how come suddenly I always feel angry with everyone, because he's normally not the type of person like he's not a bad tempered one. So okay, then after that I say okay, just stop this, use this. And after I try a lot of more oils like belief, transformation is the one really changed my mind, because I used to be a very inflexible person. Like, okay, follow the timing, should be like this. Today I have to do this. If I didn't complete that, I will be in bad mood for the whole day. Then but after using the transformation, I can see I become more flexible. Then okay, cannot finish, never mind lah. I finish next time tomorrow. So I can really feel the shift of mind when I use the emotional oils. And the one that I really like to use to support me emotionally is rose oils, Melissa, Surrender. That's a very, very beautiful oils to me.
Nice. Yeah, and I think a lot of the moms start that way. I think everyone starts thinking about the physical part first, right? And then eventually discover that there's so much in the emotional side of things. Okay, the third question: would you recommend for all moms to use the oils? This one we're going back to Tracy. Okay, hello, Tracy.
Yep. I do recommend all mums to use the oils. You know why? Because you'll find that you're actually in better control. So I think it was either G or Jenny who mentioned that as soon as she sees her kids coming down, coming home sneezing or with a runny nose, she can do something about it straight away. Like, do raindrop or anything, apply any oils. So you are in a lot more control. You actually start to understand health better. And when you do that, you are actually able to make sure that your kids are more healthier and they're well. So I find that it's not like the kids never get sick. They do still get sick, but then when they do, they recover a lot faster. But the best thing is that you don't have to rely on someone to tell you what they have. I mean, yes, we go to the doctor when, say, we need a diagnosis, or maybe it's been a week and, you're not really sure what's going on. So like G, I actually haven't had a need to take the kids to the doctor for about 3 years. So that's really awesome. And they're actually healthier than they used to be. They used to get sick every 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Got one last question, and all the ladies, I know they wanted to chime in on this one, because this is another big question that a lot of people ask. When the oils don't work. So sometimes you read, you have that little guidebook, you flip, and it says, use this. And then you use it, and it doesn't work, okay? What do you do when an oil that's supposed to help you does not work? Since Tracy, you're on, would you want to, let's just start with you.
So I'm one of those moms who's like, very much going by the book. So if one oil doesn't work, I do. So the things, one thing we all need to realize is everyone is different. And just because you got sick the last time and something worked for you, it doesn't mean that it'll work again the same way this time. But it doesn't mean that the oils are not working or you've become immune or something. It's just that your body needs something different this time. And that's why when you look at the essential oils reference books, there's always a list of oils that you can use. And normally what I do is I'll just go through the list. or maybe I'll pick 2 or 3 and try it at once. One can go in the chest, one can be diffused, one can go in the feet, but just keep trying. And that's what I encourage everyone who uses essential oils. It's like natural healing isn't like medication where you get instant results, but then at the same time, that instant result doesn't give you any healing. So with essential oils, it's like, go through the list. Go through the list, move through, and then I'm very sure that eventually you find something that works. Especially people who have like skin issues, the itchy skin issue. So that was my daughter, and that's how I started. Hers was really, really bad all over her body, and I tried almost every single recipe that I could find on the internet. There's lavender, frankincense, valor, all sorts of recipes, Melrose, and I tried it all. And eventually I got to the one that really suited her, which was myrrh. And we would go, and in the beginning when her skin was really bad, we would go through 1 bottle a week. She was very expensive to maintain. But after 6 months, it just cleared up. And I'm glad because I persevered and I went through everything I could find until I found the one that actually suited her.
Wow. Thank you. And thank you. I know it was just at tips of your mouth. I really wanted to say what is. She's trying to be very compliant. Okay. But thank you for that, because I know a lot of moms sometimes get anxious and they go, I want to see the results right now, especially because we're so used to how medication is like. But that's the truth. Sometimes we need to take that journey with our children to discover what works best for them. Okay, we're going to hear from Danny. So if a certain oil doesn't work, what do you do? Okay. Are you unmuted? Oh, yeah.
Okay. When I found that certain oils doesn't work, normally, at first I did like Tracy. I will try another few oils. And then I just give it like 1 day. And after that, I'm looking at a more holistic things as like, instead of treating one organ, for example, like a cough and flu, you relate it to the lung or respiratory. I try to see the body as the whole, which means like all organs in our body should work together harmonically. So I use organ time, which is from the Ultimate Balance book. In short, it's like there's each organ has active time for 2 hours every day. So I try to use the oils for that organ every hour. So it's like each organ will be two times applications. The next one will be another organs until there's 12 organs are being covered by the oils. Another thing that I should take a look on is the nutrition again. And if after that is still not working, I try to look into the emotional part. So I try to rely on my emotional oils. One of the oils that is really, really useful for my girl is the failure and forgiveness.
Okay. So thank you. The book that Danny was talking about organs is called, was it Balancing?
Ultimate Balance.
Oh, sorry. Ultimate Balance. That's a really good book to look at and to read if you're interested in looking at health holistically, because we're so used to Western approach where, okay, if you deal with the respiratory, then let's just look at that. Or if you're looking at digestion, let's just look at that. But our body actually functions as a collective whole. And so when someone's having a digestive issues, it's never just that. So something else is also being affected. We take care of all that. And sometimes they have this idea of pet organs, that supportive and opposite organ. If you take care of that, that can also create some miraculous results. So thank you for pointing that out. And last but not least, let's hear from G. Okay, where is G on my list? I think G can unmute. Oh, no. Okay, G, tell us what you do when something doesn't work.
I actually echo everybody else's sentiments. We need to appreciate that our body is a sum of all parts, and therefore in treating or in aiding something, you need to also take a look at something else for most parts. We also need to appreciate our bodily differences, that we are all chemically all made up very different, genetically, and all of that. So therefore, one particular oil or one particular method might not work for you, but might work very well for other people, which is why there's more than, that few oils, right? I think the other thing as well is to be brave and to dare to use essential oils with other modalities as well. So not your typical methods of just apply topically or inhale, diffuse, ingest, or whatever it may be. But like Danny suggested, consider reading about organ time. For those of you who are very interested in tools, like I was when I saw the tuning fork, I was like, oh my God, like I want to learn how to do a tuning fork. Use tuning forks, or learn massage, learn meridians, learn Chinese medicine, and how that could actually work together, and very well, in fact, with essential oils. Oh no, I forgot a point that I was trying to make. But anyway, but bottom line is, it's oh yeah, there you go. Every time an oil doesn't work, it actually presents itself an opportunity for you to check in with you, to check in with how you're feeling emotionally, how you're feeling physically. It's also an opportunity for you to check in with the person that you are oiling, whether it is your kids, your mom, your dad, your spouse, because really, I've never felt that oiling was just oiling in itself. Oiling is really, really takes out a lot of you, I always used to, in my classes with mummies, go, it's one thing about trusting your intuition, but it's also another to surrender to the fact that really the oils are just the oils, It's the magic that you bring to the oils that actually supports in the healing of your child. And that's what I think everybody has the opportunity to, I guess, discover and reconcile with, that every one of us holds magic in our hands. And it's not because I'm a lot better because I've been using it longer, or that sort of thing. That all of us are individually very unique, and we bring to the table our gifts, and we always will chance upon the person that would require our gifts at any given point in time, and to trust that and to go forth with that.
Cool. Thank you, G. So thank you, ladies, for sharing all of that. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I know we have just about 2 minutes left. I want to quickly run through I think I have just 2 slides. I just want to kind of cover the ending part and open to just 3 questions. Are you girls okay to just stay a little bit more for 3 questions? Let me just quickly screen share my slides again. Okay, sorry, this is not the one I'm looking at. I want to kind of close it properly with some information, because there will be people who are on this call right now who may not even know where to get the oils while we're talking about. So I want to be able to give a little bit of basic information. Why start oiling? The moms have already talked about it. I'm just summarizing it here. You save tremendously all the money that you're spending at the doctors. You stay physically well and fit naturally. I think this is a big thing for a lot of moms, because after a while, sometimes it just gets so frustrating feeding your child the antibiotics up one round after the other. Number 3, stronger body systems mean less periods of illness and shorter period of illness. Number 4, the mummies have covered this as well. This is an amazing thing that even just normal medication doesn't even come close to this. The smell in itself affects our brain, our whole brain function, etc., and it impacts the emotions. And as that is impacted, it also reduces stress. So very often when someone starts to begin using oils a lot, especially on themselves as mummies or on the children, they start finding their relationships, their whole mood, they become calmer as people. And that's so important because we're in a city that's stressful and lots of things going on all at the same time. So when we are calmer, our system, our physical body system calms down as well. And number 5, this is a huge one that I hear a lot of parents talk about. The kids learn positive healthcare. Sorry for my spelling there. But when I say positive healthcare, kids no longer just fall sick and then just wait for mom or dad to kind of feed them with whatever, to get better. But instead, what happens is a lot of kids begin to stay attentive to how their body is like, just like mummies. When we start using the oils on ourselves, we begin to notice what are the small changes as we feel our immune system coming down, as we feel more lethargic type. We just become sensitive. And the kids learn that when the parents lead by example. And the kids then learn, for example, when they're feeling lethargic, or they begin to feel like they have a scratchy mouth, scratchy throat, they become the ones to tell the parents, hey mom, hey dad, I think I need this. I've seen so many kids do this. And the parents start to, really groom children who no longer think that, oh, I just need to fall sick. And then I just need to take MC for, a week or 2. But they begin to take charge of their body. And I think a lot of parents want that. They want their kids to live that way. The next slide, and it's the last slide that I have, is how do you get your essential oils, the Young Living oils? So first and foremost, please connect with the person who shared about the oils with you. I left my email here because I didn't want to just think that I didn't ask the 3 ladies whether they want to leave their emails. If there is a particular mom that you want to get in touch with, drop me an email and I'll ask them if it's okay to connect you to them. But first and foremost, if you're completely new, please go back to the person who introduced you, okay? And definitely consider starting an online membership with Young Living that saves you at least 24% versus buying it retail or buying it off your friend. Last but not least, a Young Living membership changes wellness in your family and may eventually offer you a chance at abundance and purpose by helping others live better and stronger. So this is the part where there is a little bit of that business element to it, but we always tell anyone who's coming to it not to focus their attention on it, but to first just love the oils, because that's all you want to do. And if you ever choose to share it with somebody, and trust me, I think all the 3 moms here, they've never thought that they would ever want to advocate and talk about the oils with anyone. But once you've seen that change in yourself and you've seen that change in your children, it's really natural. And that just really happens so often that I've seen with parents. Okay, so those are the things that I want to cover with you. And we're just going to open it up. You can either do this click, raise hand. That's this little function on your app. Or you can type. We're just going to take 3 questions because I don't want to hold the mummies back. Whether you have anything that you feel like you really want to be able to ask right now. Only thing, I need to stress this because this is recorded. We're not here to diagnose anything. We're not here to be doctors. So we're not going to take questions that have you asked, oh, I have a child with this issue. Let me show you a photo. This is how it looks like right now. We're not going to do any of that, okay? Somebody is writing privately to me, so I'm trying to see what this is. Yeah, Michelle, we'll handle that later. This is not quite related. So, counting down, anyone with questions for the moms? I think we covered some of the big ones. In terms of skepticism, in terms of when things don't work, what do we do? I just want to see if anyone else out there has questions. Or are they looking for we have. Josephine has raised her hand. So Let's see. Unmute Josephine. Yes.
Hi, Kai.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, just a very quick question. Okay, offhand, right? What supports eczema other than lavender?
Okay.
No, I can't ask.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So let me help you, really rephrase this because that's really considered, treatment. But I think what I could ask the moms is just in general, what are good oils that support skin, okay? Just skin health. See, Tracy is like giggling in because she was talking about it. Okay. Moms, which one of you want to answer this? Tracy, you had some experience, right? Okay, I'm going to get Tracy. And clearly she's going to choke on her answers because there's so many things she can't talk about. But yes, Tracy, tell us.
Okay. I will talk about supporting healthy skin.
Yes.
Right? So to support healthy skin, you need to start with liver. So you need to make sure, actually, a lot of the skin issues actually stems from the liver. So if you take supplements such as sulfazyme and alkaline, that's a good start. Do gentle cleanses, lemon oil, digest and cleanse. Start cleansing from the inside, because a lot of the products that actually people give you to address these, skin itchiness, it's actually just dealing with a symptom. So the root cause is actually internal. So you got to work on it internally, and then you find an oil or an ointment or something like what I suggested, animal scent or myrrh or lavender, whatever works for you, to address the skin externally.
Thank you, Tracy. So I'm just paraphrasing. Don't jump into straight away just using oils on the skin, because that's always just a reflection of what's going on inside the body. So start taking care of that nutritionally. Lots of good products are there that's focused on the liver or even just overall nutritional health. I've heard parents who found Ningxia Red, Life 5, the probiotics, sulfazyme, even the enzymes, really powerful to support the entire system. And they find that once the whole body, the nutritional level goes up, the body naturally takes care of the skin issues. So that's secondary. If you do use...
So I should also add water intake is very important. So you can Google what's recommended for your body weight, how much water to drink, but you need to make sure your water intake is sufficient for your body, as well as bowel movement, and you might have to eliminate dairy, caffeine, and sugar for a while.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you, Josephine, for that question. Okay. So I do have a question here that was typed out. Let me see. It says, what are the oils to avoid for a child with G6PD? Very common question. Any mom wants to answer? You can raise hand so I can see which of the moms. No moms want to answer? Okay, this is my input, and it's not something that I'm going to say, hey guys, I'm the expert of G6PD, okay? We used to have this discussion on our old Facebook group. People used to discuss this a lot. And again, it's one of those debated things where you can have one person who says, I avoid this 100 oils for pregnancy. And then another person goes, I just avoid this 3. So same for G6PD. We have people who come up with a list from the internet and say, these are all the things that we're not supposed to use. But I've also personally met parents with G6PD children. They themselves are G6PD and they use everything. And they said they've never been happier that they have been able to use all the products and really, really support health from that perspective. So it goes back again to what's the comfort level? Because, so I think G wants to just quickly add something here. Let's say, where are you, G-Biz? Unmute you. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that point. So my goddaughter's got G6PD, and she's the only one in the family who's got it. And the only thing, so obviously when I recommended her the oils, we because I was such a gangster, right? Like I was one of those moms who, like, people say dilute, they're like thieves on my child's body, and they're like, ah, like whatever, right? And we've got pretty high tolerance levels of pain or discomfort, if you want to put it that way. But the only thing that we figured to avoid these days that will give her some sort of reaction is eucalyptus, and all ranges of it. But to add to Kai's point, I think it just goes back to, on top of comfort, also dosage. So when you start off, always start off small, and then gradually add, and then gradually notice for reactions, because that's how we found out with Dana. Like, we noticed that she reacted a particular way, or she had very high, like she was throwing tantrums over, the eucalyptus and things like that. And this was really how we started discovering. So, like I said, it's like, build it up rather than try to go all out at once.
Thank you for that. And I think, just to really strengthen that point, because I think a lot of mom may be very new to this concept that they have to make the observation themselves. Mommies and daddies, yes. You're no longer going like, hey, doctor, tell me what to do. Because this is an important part of teaching your kids how to really have responsibility over themselves. That you learn to watch them and they learn to tell you what's going on. And in that way, like Tracy said, you have so much more control over health versus, you before you know it, you're whacked out by something and you're like, I'm just really sick. I don't know what happened. So watch and start as little as possible and watch their reactions. It's never going to be, unless you're pouring a whole bottle on someone, no one's going to have a flare-up huge reaction. If you start little by little, dilute it, you can see if they're comfortable with it or not. Yeah. Okay. We have one question that asks about GLF for liver cleanse, where to apply. I'm just going to kind of jump in on this one. Where to apply? Apply on the liver. Yeah, that's the best place that you can apply for the GLF. I've personally learned from one of the therapists that you want to do liver cleanse, really look at your nutritional products, like how Tracy says it. Your oils are great, but they're also really expensive if you want to use them for cleansing. They are like there to support your body to do that extra mile and really, just strive for the best. But before that, when it's laden with toxins, to use oils to detox is very expensive. You want to go to the nutritional side of things and use that to support, and with a little bit of oils. And then you'll find that when whatever organ you are working on starts to work more optimally, when you use the oil, it really accelerates the progress. Okay. I know there's just one last one. Somebody did write, what are the oils to avoid for kids with cough, flu, especially asthma? Any moms? Do you avoid anything? No? Yeah.
No, it is just back to the point of essential oils are plant material and they are from nature. So they work with your body as opposed to try to deal with symptoms or suppress it as chemical medication would. So there really isn't anything to avoid as per se. It's really just going with what has worked and for you, and also perhaps what has worked for other people, and just going down that list really.
Okay. Oh, Tracy wants to add something. Yes, Tracy.
Actually, on that question, it's not so much what to avoid. Actually, you should be using the oils if you have any of those items that you listed. I mean, I had one of those, the third one that you mentioned, and RC actually got me off all of the medication. So after, and it was only a few months. It didn't take years. It only took a few months of applying RC every night, and eventually I found that I didn't need medication and I didn't need RC as well. And I'm just completely fine now. Yeah. So if you have that, if you actually should be using the oils rather than avoiding oils.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay, it's really nice for me to be learning from these mummies as well, and to be sitting here for a change, not the one doing all the talking, to hear from the individual moms because they have so much wisdom. And here's the big thing: all the mommy and daddies who might be listening to this, please know that no one starts off as an expert. None of us. Please don't feel fearful towards the oils. Grab your resources, learn from them, ask questions, and you'll find that it really is just something that comes with experience before you know it. You know, sometimes it takes even just as short as 2 or 3 months. Some parents just very quickly just tune into that, and they become very good at deciding, okay, what are some things they need to choose for their children for what needs. So allow yourself to explore. The essential oils do not explode in your face when you use it carefully, bit by bit, okay? G is just one of the exceptions. She's against the mama, like she says, so she goes straight in. But a lot of other moms just start simply. So have a good time trying it out with your children. You'll be amazed at the kind of results that you get, okay? So I can't thank the 3 moms enough, G, Danny, and Tracy. Thank you very much for taking this slightly more than 1.5 hours to sit here with everyone. Okay, this is recorded and we'll get it onto the site very soon. Thank you, girls. Everyone, good night. Bye.
Bye.